Hello, Porsche lovers and car enthusiasts. I'm your girl, Jen Barlow. Welcome to Motor Spins. This has been called the most significant Porsche in Porsche's history. Yes, yes, yes. If you like fast cars, but more importantly, you're a history buff like I am, you are gonna love the story of the Speedster. We have to take a little trip down memory lane though to really understand and fully get all of the details and respect that this car deserves. This is a 1991 Porsche 911 Speedster, AKA the 964. It's roped off because it's the last vehicle to come out of production, and we're gonna get to that in a second, but come with me. So this is a 1948 Speedster concept car, but the actual Speedsters went into production in the 1950s, 1954 to be exact. They were delivered after people came home from the war, and they wanted something that had performance, but that was available, that wasn't crazy expensive, that they could get into, and that would also compete with its British counterparts. This was that vehicle. Speedster, the name, is designated for two-seaters that can, as you can imagine, go up to speed and beyond the speed, that are fast, that are derived from the 911 heritage. You know 911s are the most selling sports car of all time. I don't know if you knew that, but they are. They're crazy popular, but the Speedster in and of itself, that name is a badge of honor. It's only designated for a few models each generation. So this was the start of it all. This is like my parents watching over me, beautiful, roped off, lovely. Love to see it in its pristine condition here. Look at the lovely humps, you're gonna see that. We had a baby and it's red, guard red to be exact. This is the 91 version. You have your cabriolet design, but the Carrera platform. So it's made to go fast, but it's also meant to look nice. It was originally kind of stripped down, frankly. I know the color is really loud and proud, but it was a stripped down model because they wanted it to go fast. So they didn't throw in a lot of the crazy niceties, the luxuries that you would see in some Porsche models. But then they started over time to make it what we call the Boulevarder, something that you would want to parade down the street in, show off, wave a little, you know. It's so beautiful. It's under these really fancy schmancy museum lights, which is cool. Again, they won't give me the keys. Well, we'll see what happens by the end of this video. But there's a lot of things to take in, most notably, hello, where did the rest of the windshield go? It's like chopped off roadster with this chopped off windshield, very interesting design. The Speedster was made to go fast, but it was made, importantly, like your European beaches, to go topless. Yes, you can rewind it, I said it. There is a cloth top that you could put on that's housed here in your humpity humps, your tonneau cover back here. You could pull it out manually. Inside, you're gonna see some of the niceties that you would expect of a Porsche, but maybe not everything. Listen, AC was not necessarily standard. It was an add-on addition, which I don't know why you wouldn't add it on, but frankly, this is all the AC that some may need. But if you live in hot Southern California, this does have climate control. It did come with the added AC, bolstered race bucket seats. I believe, I might sound off some alarms. Lord help us. All right, here's the thing. There's not a lot going on. We do have the leather, which was an upgrade. You could upgrade to the leather, of course. But look at this, your little door pulls. I don't know what you're gonna call them, but they're like these little tethered pieces. They were trying to save weight. And it's also an interesting design that you see carried over into some of today's Porsche designs, but this is kind of where it all started. You had your, look at these little turn knobs for your unlocking and locking. You haven't seen something like that in a while. Also, you've got your sound system. This did have automatic roll-up doors. You also have your red seat belts, which is super cool. You also have a 5-speed manual gearbox. Yes, yes, yes. In later versions, the 964 was followed up by the 993. It was the introduction to the 6-speed, which is kind of cool. was half expecting like security guards to pop out. But again, this really interesting design of the windshield, if you look through, it's so short and chopped off compared to a lot of different models. What made it really interesting is the top had to be uniquely made to compensate for the lower chopped off windshield. Also, you have dual airbags in the front. You got your, your sick 90s Porsche styling that the likes of Jerry Seinfeld loved. Yes, he did own one. It did sell at auction for, I believe, over $100,000. Don't quote me on that. If you know, let me know in the comments what it actually sold for. But these cars originated at around the $66,000 price point, which, isn't cheap. But also, you could get into a really nicely styled Porsche, the Speedster nonetheless. And nowadays, this vehicle that we're standing next to is priceless. That's what my mom tells me I am. I'm priceless. Aww. Something like this is gonna go on auction well over $100,000, and it keeps appreciating with time. For the time, this was a really distinct style. It wasn't widely available. I mean, for all the years of the Speedster, there was over 936, I believe, only over 400 sold in the US. So this car is very limited. The styling is cool. It's got the narrow body. You could also get the wider body, the GT version, but it was only in a handful of options. This is the narrower body. Look at this, you got a dip down, letting the airflow come through and come out. You can't see it here, but there is a rear wing that comes up over speeds of 50 miles an hour, I believe. So this would raise up, give you a much more downforce that you would need. This car being a rear wheel drive, you tend to take off and you tend to really take off. So this gives you that added stability inside here, which we can't open because I will have to give them a lot of money, but this is a priceless, beautiful Speedster in a museum, so they won't let me pop open the engine compartment. But we are working with a 3.6 liter flat six engine. At the time, this was the GT model. It was the faster engine. It was naturally aspirated. It had 247 horsepower, 228 pound-feet of torque, meaning this thing was a flyer for the 90s, 0 to 60 time, 5.1 seconds. I know you're thinking, oh my God, my Bugatti does 0 point whatever. No, this car for the 90s, this is a very fast, respectable time. Something like your quarter-mile speed is gonna be around 14 seconds. That's pretty fast, that's pretty darn fast. And something like this, it's the Speedster. A lot of times small cars, especially rear-driven cars, they get a little squirrely, if you will, or they can get a little slippery. This thing is so well grounded, and the handling is very tight and secure, but it's nimble. It can go around corners, so when you're cruising up to like Angeles Crest, or you're like going around your town like a bat out of hell, this Speedster will get you there, but it will get you there feeling safe. That's a big distinction. A lot of fast cars, you get that much horsepower to the rear, that much torque, and you are completely sideways out of the gate. Something like this, it had a lot of performance, a lot of power. Hello, it was named the Speedster at the time, but it was still well made, and it made you feel like you were a great driver as well. And also a big distinction about this vehicle in particular, this 964, this Speedster model, it was the last air-cooled vehicle before Porsche switched over to water-cooled, so a very distinct note on that as well. Another thing that's distinct, hello, yes, look over here. There is this third rear brake. I'm sure there was something going on where they were like, listen, safety standards have changed, you gotta have 3, and Porsche's like, what do? We're already in production. Stick a periscope on there? What the heck is this thing? I don't know. I don't even know the story behind it. I kind of just made it up. But listen, it's interesting. It looks like an antenna. It's not an antenna. It does what it needs to do. But real interesting that they just tacked that bad boy on. But I love all the lines. There's so many details to look at. You've got the humps. You've got how it comes down. You've got the little lip action here. And then you come around and you can see the Porsche light bar that they're notorious for now. But the styling cues are really what's interesting. If you let me get in close and you look from this way too, you can really see the fenders flared out. They got that extra flare, those shoulders, those hips. What do you call them? I call them hips. I hear other people call them shoulders. I guess, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you call them. All right, we made our way back up. I want to talk about these turbo alloy wheels. We got 17-inch. These bad boys made out of chrome. They probably weigh more than they should, but they were a really distinct styling cue of the 90s, and come to find out, you could actually get them to match the paint of your Speedster. So if you really wanted them not in the chrome look, you could get matching guard red if you really wanted to show up and show off, which I would have. In the 90s, rolling up to the club with my all red everything, yes, I can paint that picture. What's also interesting is I'm looking at these calipers, they look really modern. I know this was a car from the 90s, but I mean, that style and that sort of badging, it looks very, very modern. Another interesting detail, this was the first model with ABS. Yes, anti-lock brake system. Like I said, there were a lot of firsts and notable details, you know, based on the Carrera 2 platform, which was the very best at its time. So the fact that this was the creme de la creme of that platform. You've got your front trunk detail, of course, it's a Porsche, storage space in the front, but just check it out for a second. What does it look like? I don't know, but they're saying it's a Stampede coming through. It looks a little froggy to me. Let me know in the comments what you think the Speedster reminds you of. All right, you've seen it all the curves of the Speedster, but they tell me it's priceless. What do you think this sold for at auction? I'll let you guess. Put your guesses down below in the comments. You have 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. 348,000 big ones. That's what this sold for. They do tell me it's priceless. It's put behind the rope for a reason. They didn't give me the keys for a reason, but it is surely, surely a remarkable car in Porsche's history. Love the Speedster. Let me know what you guys think of it down below in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe, of course, and turn your bell notifications on. I'll see you again next time on Motor Spins.